Hello, my name is Fox and you're watching Den of Fools. Let's jump right in. In week 43 of 2024, we had 137 tournaments, with a total of 2,395 players and 9,067 games played. The long-awaited first results from the balance update are upon us. As it is the first week, these results can change significantly as players get used to the new points and changes to the rules, in particular the updates to the mission cards. In any event, the Space Marines top the charts, with 24 wins and 70 top 3 placings. Their weighted pace of 22.3 is very similar to what they were doing before the update. I guess with their popularity, the weighted places will always be around this level, regardless of how strong they are. Later on in the video, we will cover the placings and win rates for the diversion chapters, including the first results with the Blood Angels Codex supplement. The Guard comes second with 15 wins, 33 top 3s, and a weighted pace of 12.4, which is the third best overall. I'm a little surprised they've picked up around the same number of wins and top 3s as last week, considering the most competitive list got heavily nerfed. We'll have to wait and see if they continue to win a lot of events going forward, but it is a good start for the Guard. The Necrons are in third place with 9 wins, 30 top 3s, and a weighted pace of 23.3. Their weighted pace has increased. They are in a similar position overall, which is not too surprising considering they got a mixture of minor buffs and nerfs. Tyranids also get 9 wins with 24 top 3s and a slightly better weighted pace of 21.8, which is a good result for them. Tau get 7 wins with 22 top 3s, and a weighted pace of 22.9. They are only top of the factions with 7 wins, as they got the most top 3s. The Gene Stealers, who are also on 7 wins, get 22 top 3s and a weighted pace of 9.8, which is the best overall. Their lower player base does allow them to get very good weighted placings, and they pick up a few wins, but it's still a very good result. It is important to note that both them and the Tau only got 1 win at the larger tournaments. Imperial Knights get 18 top 3s and a weighted pace of 15.4. The Sisters of the last faction in blue also on 7 wins, with 15 top 3s and a weighted pace of 16.9. Considering they were nerfed pretty hard in the balance update, I'm surprised that they have done quite so well. The Eldari top the green group with 6 wins and 20 top 3s. Their weighted pace is 16.5, which is a good result for them. The Death Guard of Votan also get 6 wins, with 19 and 15 top 3s. There is some difference in the weighted placings, with the Death Guard on 20.5 and the Votan on 15. The Drukhari get 5 wins with 12 top 3s and a weighted pace of 11.4, which is the second best overall. Like the G-Sealers, they can get very good weighted placings due to their low player base, but it is still an impressive result. All the remaining factions in green get 4 wins, being ranked by the number of top 3 placings. Chaos Demons and Orcs both get 14 top 3s, with weighted places of 27.5 and 29.3. Chaos Space Marines get 12 top 3s and a rather large weighted placing of 39. The Grey Knights are the last faction in green, with 9 top 3s and a weighted pace of 28.8. We have 4 factions in yellow, with between 3 and 1 wins. The Thousand Sons in particular have seen a big fall in their performance, with their single win giving them a weighted placing of 121. Chaos Knights are the only faction in red, unfortunately missing out on a win. 23 factions manage at least 1 top 10 placing, with the Space Marines get the most top 10s with 252. Necrons are in second with 98 top 10 placings. Guard are in third on 86 top 10 placings. The Space Marines are the most played faction, with 90.44% of all players taking them. Guard are the second most popular on 7.11%. Necrons are in third on 6.86%. Despite the changes, the popularity remains very similar. It takes our resident stats guru and Ultramarine fanboy Fearless Fox many hours to collect all the data. It would be great if you could show your appreciation by liking and sharing the video. It really helps us with the God algorithm of YouTube. We have grouped the win rates by colour, with the key at the bottom of the screen. In the first week with the new points, the G-Stealers top the charts with an impressive win rate of 61%. They do only have 51 players, so this can be heavily affected by a small number doing very well. Having said that, it is a very good result, although I'd be very surprised if they continue this win rate over the next few weeks. The Legions of Votan are the first known faction in the Goldilocks zone, with a win rate of 53.4%, which is a big improvement for them. The Sisters are still performing well despite the nerfs, with a win rate of 53.1%. I expect them to drop just below 50% after the changes, and I still expect them to drop down a bit more in the coming weeks. Imperial Knights are in a very similar spot, with a win rate of 52.8%, which is to be expected seeing as they got a minor buff. The Necrons have a win rate of 52.4%, which is a slight improvement for them. The Drukhari come next with a win rate of 52.1%, with the Custodians on a win rate of 51.1%. Both of these factions did a lot better at the smaller tournaments, especially the Drukhari, who got a win rate of 61.3%. The Thousand Sons get a win rate of 51%, which I am very surprised by, considering they were perhaps the hardest hit faction in the update, with a lot of key units getting an increase. I suppose they were just under 55% before, but I expect them to decrease a bit further. Chaos Demons are the last faction in green, with a win rate of 50.8%. The Tau top the other group with a win rate of 48.8%, with the Tyranids close behind at a win rate of 48.4%. The Death Guard get a win rate of 47.8%, with Eldari Space Marines on 47.6%. We will cover the divergent chapters a little later on in the video. Chaos Space Marines have a win rate of 47.5%. This is actually a significant improvement, considering where they were before the update. Likewise, the Orcs have managed to creep back into the Goldilocks zone, with a win rate of 46.5%. Chaos Knights have a win rate of 46.3%, with Guard on a win rate of 46.2%. The Guard taking a big hit to their win rate is not too unexpected, considering their most competitive list got nerfed out of play. As mentioned previously, they still managed to do very well in terms of placings. We have 2 more factions in yellow, with the World Leaders on a win rate of 44.4%. I did not expect them to be below the Goldilocks zone, considering they only got some minor nerfs, and I personally thought all the units would still see play. We'll have to wait and see if it continues. AdMech have taken a significant hit and have found themselves below the Goldilocks zone, with the internal balancing seemingly not working that effectively. Imperial Agents are the only faction in red, with a win rate of 34.5%. Overall, there are a few surprises after the update, but the game is seemingly relatively well balanced with a few outliers. There does seem to be a fair few more factions in green than before, but this may well change as players get used to the new meta. As this is the first week with the new results, the weekly is identical to the running total this time around. The 4-week win rate is quite interesting, however, as it shows what factions were doing before the balance change. For example, the Leagues of Votan are much improved compared to the 4-week total, which is 48%, compared to the 53.4% they got last week. Of course, the 4-week does include this period's data, which is why factions that don't have a huge play base, such as the Gene Stealers, have a 4-week total which is much higher than it was before the update. As we don't have a lot to talk about on the running totals until we get more data, let's move on to the Space Marine win rates. Minus the 2 Deathwatch players, the Space Wolves are the winners this week, with a win rate of 54.4%. It seems the nerfs have made basically no difference in the early data. The Blood Angels come next with a win rate of 49.6%, which is not a bad start for the new supplement. I would imagine it'll take a few weeks for players to work out the best combos from the new rules. The Dark Angels get a win rate of 46.6%, with the Black Templars on a win rate of 44.9%. These are relatively similar results for both chapters, with the Templars dropping out of the Goldilocks zone after their unnecessary nerfs. As is now the norm, the Codex chapters are at the bottom, with a win rate of 44%. The Dark Angels get the most wins with 7, courtesy of them being the most popular chapter. The Space Wolves are close behind with 6, followed by the Blood Angels on 5. The Codex chapters and the Black Templars both have 3 wins this week. Overall, the initial results are very similar for the Space Marines, with a small decrease across the board for the divergent chapters. It'll be interesting to see how it develops going forward. I personally think the Blood Angels win rate may change considerably, with the Space Wolves potentially coming down a bit. Like the all-faction running totals, the Space Marine running totals are the same as the weekly, as this is the first period of the new data. They can be compared to the 4-week rolling win rates, which are actually remarkably similar, with a small decrease overall. In the first week, Chaos Space Marines got a win rate of 48.1%, with the Emperor's Children only managing a 36% win rate. Granted, they only had 6 players. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe, check out one of the videos on screen, and consider using our affiliate links in the description. Thank you for watching.